DR fam, how's everybody doing? Everybody had a great Thursday. Sorry for missing you yesterday. Was having some internet problems last night, so just decided not to record and not to fight it too much. And was a pretty slow day toward the end yesterday. We had a beautiful rejection or a support level at the midnight open yesterday that rocketed us off with that move, but if you were paying attention, you already saw it. So let's talk about today. Really, just a one. Today's one of what I call those one trade DR days, right? So let's look at it. As always, let's talk about our range. So we had a 16-point range today. Now, interesting. If you look at right around like 10 o'clock when the range sets up. So I used to just wait till 10:30 before I even looked at the charts. Now I actually like to look at the range setup sometimes to understand what's happening. And if you look right around 10 o'clock, we had this move. We had we had a 9:30 move coming down. We had 10 o'clock. We had this candle that just shot right back up here, and then we had the next candle that took us all the way down. And so what's interesting was I always look for the range to be about 16 to 20 plus points. We only had like about an 11-point range right in here, and I said, wow, I know they're not going to take us up here and that the range be that short or that small. And sure enough, we went up, but we came right back down and took this over to make us a nice 16-point gap. Not saying that as a rule, or like 16 is like some magic number, but it's just a number that I see all the time. And so it's interesting to watch how the market's set up. Sometimes I'll even say at 10 o'clock, okay, well, they got to either take us down 10 more points or up 5 points or whatever to get us into a valid, what I consider a valid range for the day. So anyway, so that's the setup story. And I didn't even I wasn't looking for a bias on here, even though we had it kind of generally went this way, but this candle right here just kind of took that bias out of what I was looking at. So all right, so let's talk about what did happen. 10 o'clock, so we did come up, and on this candle here, we actually went up above IDR, and there was about a 3-point gap between IDR and DR here, and so that's very significant. Yesterday, I used that as a scalping technique. I just went up and down on those scalps yesterday, like 3 points each. But anyway, so we had about the same kind of gap here today. So we not confirmed high, but we said, we indicated high here based off of this candle closing above the IDR high, which generally means we're going to go and confirm high. And so, again, there's some ways you can be a little tricky on this. See this next candle form here, you could like, no, I didn't tell you this, but you can probably just take a trade here for it to go up and then, kind of scalp going that way. That's not the rules, but that's something you can look at if we, once we start confirming high here, or not, I keep saying confirming, once we start indicating high and then, continue to move up, right? So that's an opportunity, okay? But that's not the trade we're looking for. So we go up, we confirm high on this candle. Now we go all the way up, look where we went up to, and we switch over to ICT for a second. You see, we call this new week opening gap here. I don't know what week that's from, but there's a new week opening gap here. There's one there. You can see another gray and red here. That's another one down there. But you can see the one up here is a critical one, and that comes into play a little bit later on my actual trade. Okay, so what happens? New week opening gap goes to the middle of that. I think they call that consequent encroachment or some other thing they call that for the middle. It's called the middle. And once we went up there, we actually rejected off of that to come back down below DR high. And then the move I was waiting for, right? So when we were making this move up here, going this way, my commentary was, I want us to get back down to 45.42, which is IDR high, okay? I didn't want to take a trade. I didn't want to put a trade off of DR high because it just didn't give me a lot of room here for it to say, okay, yeah, that's it goes down far enough for it to come back up. So I said, all right, I wanted to go to IDR high, and that's what ended up happening. So it rejected off of this new week opening gap, came all the way back down to and you see right below that IDR high. So orders placed right here. I know a couple of folks that actually took that with me. And so we moved up, really just a nice move up here. Now here's where that new week opening gap comes back into play, because I got to 5 points, got to 6 points. I moved my stop loss up to 5 points. I'm like, okay, I got 5 points locked in, guaranteed. I'm okay there. When it got a little closer up here to the new opening gap, you see what happened the last time it got up here. And so when I got to about 9 points, not 9 points, I got to like 40, what was it, 45, 49, somewhere in there, right when we got to the bottom of that candle right there, or the top of that candle, which was right inside of that new opening gap, I went ahead and took my trade off. Right, so I got about 7 points out of that trade, because I was like, well, last time I went to the new week opening gap, it rejected. And it actually did the same thing here, just not as much. Went up again and rejected back down. And so that was the, so that was 7 points here. Now the next play I took, so now we're done with DR for the day, folks. There are no more DR trades. We never came back down to DR. All right, so once you get out of your initial trade here, the rest of it is on you and your other strategies that you want to use. So I had a couple strategies, actually one strategy in play was really ICT. And, my fair value gaps I love to see here. Now I did miss his trade, right, because I wasn't paying attention, honestly. So let me zoom in a little bit on this one, and I'll show you. I mean, I looked at it, I said, if this happens, I'm going to take a trade, but I wasn't. Then I stopped paying attention, right? So my fault. So here's the trade right here, right? So fair value gap, bullish. We pierce it and then start move back up. Trades right on top of that fair value gap line or that box, and then you can go ride that up. All right, nice easy trade there. Okay, so I missed that one. Again, I wasn't paying attention. It was around lunchtime. I think I went and got something to eat. I'm not really sure, but I just know I saw it. I looked at it before it happened, and I came back. I missed it. So anyway, now here's the next one. Another fair value gap, right? So the first one here, I put my order in right here on the top of that fair value gap, and I think I had about 3 or 4 points on this one. Then we started coming back down, so I got out of that trade. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I got 3 points with that one. It got up about 4 points, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I had my finger on the trigger, as I call it, and as soon as it started dropping back down, I took the trade off. So grabbed 3 points on that one, strictly scalp mode at this point, right? So once our DR was done, it was strictly scalp mode. All right, so saw this come back down again, did the exact same. Basically came down to the same spot, relatively equal low on there, same thing. Order right here, and this one was an easy 5 points off of that one. No big deal. All right. Okay, so after that, I started chilling out, right? Because I'm like, okay, I don't see anything I really want to get involved with. There's some, the fair value gap sitting here that got taken out, so that one didn't really do anything for me. Wasn't paying attention to that one as much. Now, one thing I did, which sometimes I forget to do, is I kind of mentally drew this box out further, right? Because technically this box, we haven't closed this gap yet, because even though price came way down into it, we didn't go down below the box. So that's still technically, to me, that's still a valid fair value gap. And so if you see what happens toward later in the afternoon, and so what I started doing now, or I've been doing, but I started doing, especially on the fair value gaps now, is I actually start putting alerts on the top of those boxes if I'm looking for a bullish one, right? So if I don't want to pay attention, like this was just too much noise for me and I got things to do, again, still working full time, all that good stuff, right? So put an alert on to the top of that box, let price come back into it. Now I can pay attention, because what I'm looking for is price to, get down into the box and then start to reject back off of it. And so we got here, order on top of that box, and boom, there we go. So closed out the day. Let's see if you guys can't see that. So kind of closed out the day with another 5 points, and was pretty much done. All right. So after that, I didn't play too much more with it. What I did do, again, like I said, I had an order placed here, right? Had an order on the top of the box here. Okay. Still hadn't closed the box out, so I actually had another order over here. But one thing to notice is these did not come back. I was at 330, which again, normally at 330 we get some kind of action. We should have had an upward move, which we did. Could have scalped some off of there, but we actually didn't come back down into the box, right? So again, I'm gonna try to draw this out. Sorry, this is not Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so that's the top of the box. Order would have been right here on top, but again, we never got back down to it, so that just kind of went and did its thing. All right, so I mean, all in all, really a good day. Only one true DR trade today, following the strategy we use. But if you combine with ICT stuff and you be a little more aggressive, then again, overall pretty good day. So this week's been relatively slow. Haven't really taken a lot of trades. Been kind of 5, 6 points here, 10 points, on some days. So, but again, this is quad witch. This is notice we are now on the Z contracts, right? So these are the December contracts. We're no longer on the was it S or whatever one they are, M or whatever one is September. I can't remember, but we're now on the Z contract. So price is a little different, and I still have to move some of my things that I use my line to indicate. I don't use a lot of indicators, but the things I use, I still need to get them over here on this chart for them, but have basic ones that I truly need. So that's it, guys. Again, hope everybody had a great day. Love on your loved ones. You never know, you won't be able to do it again, so take advantage of the opportunity. And we will see you tomorrow. All right, God bless y'all. Take care.